welcome to another week of my fitness journey. I've been pressing play every day and continuing moving forward with my exercise videos. I haven't felt like moving every day. In fact, there was one day where I was totally not interested in doing it. But if you wait for the perfect conditions, well, the perfect conditions never come. And I want to keep moving forward. Happy to say the scale is moving down, but not up, as you can see by my weight progress report here, and this graph, which shows I did spike at one point, but then I proceeded just to drop from that point on. So as far as what I did this week, on Monday, I did a Turbo Jam cardio party video. On Tuesday, I did Turbo Sculpt plus a 10-minute ball routine. On Wednesday, it's a wild card day, so I did a Turbo Fire hit routine. On Thursday, I repeat Tuesday. And on Friday, I repeat Monday. Saturday is a wild card day, so I threw in a Biggest Loser boot camp workout. And Sunday's kind of a chill day, so I basically did 2 10-minute exercises. One was a stretch routine, and the other one was abs. What's up, everybody? It's time for yet another weekly check-in on this whole pandemic fitness journey. So it's been another good week, actually. This has really given me something to focus on. It's almost like running my own kind of like fat camp, for lack of a better word. The thing about, let's use the nice word, fitness camp, which is actually probably a more proper term. The thing about camps like those and situations like those is that is all you have to focus on. You go to these camps and all you're doing is focusing on these skills that you can hopefully take back into the real world. Now, what happens a lot of the time at these fitness camps, or what is jokingly called fat camp, is you go home and then you go back to your bad habits. And that is probably the most dangerous moment, because you won't see what's happening right away. You go back to your old habits slowly, and over time you become the exact person you were before you went to this camp. And this is true for a lot of things. It happens with rehab. Like when you're in rehab for like a drug addiction, while you're in rehab, all you have to focus on is getting better. Now, in a perfect world, as you get towards the end of it, you're preparing yourself with skills that will allow you to face the threat in the real world, quote unquote, real world. And so, like any sort of like isolationist thing where you are going somewhere to improve some part of yourself, a lot of times it's easy to do it while you're removed from the temptations of the thing that got you there. You know, if you have an addiction to alcohol, it's much easier to mitigate that when you're among peers who are struggling with the same thing that you are. When you have a drug addiction, it's much easier to mitigate that when you have systems in place that are all about helping you get better. And the same thing when you don't work out a lot and you go to this intense camp, and the whole idea is that when you get out of it, you've built some skills or some habits that will allow you to carry it over back into the real world. But the thing is, and I talked about this in my last video, parties exist, and those social environments haven't changed. Those social environments that led you to your bad habits have not changed. And so you have to take this greater responsibility to bring this person you learned to be in that isolated environment into the larger social environment. Now, the world is in such a weird place right now. I have no idea what the world is going to be looking like moving forward. And I only know that I found a way to build something positive within this experience. And that's been concentrating on building these fitness habits. Now, this was a goal I had before COVID-19 really took us out. And the good thing about going through a fitness journey while I was working a job would have been, I would have had to deal with social sort of situations that provided more temptations. But before I get too deep into other stuff I want to talk about, let's just talk about my progress this week. I've lost, I think the technical amount is 2.6 pounds. I just like to call it 2. So yeah, I've gone down more weight, almost, I guess, 2.5. Let's just call it 2.5. So there's been a huge change from early April to early May. I did have my weight go up a bit in the middle of this, but that was before I was really doing a good job with food. So changing up food really helped, but also just exercising helps, and I think the combination of the two has really been very effective, and it always has been. Like, this is we have all these nitty gritty things we break it down to, and for people who are training for a specific thing, like they're training to be bodybuilders, they're training to be runners, like a lot of these little health studies can be very important to them for like very specific things, but the very basic formula of more movement, which we often call exercise, and reducing your portions combined has never failed in human history. Everything else is just minutia, and it's helpful minutia depending on your goals, but it's mostly minutia. If you reduce portions and increase exercise, the combined effect of the two is always positive. The question at this point to me is, one, what tools am I using to make sure that I can keep this up as I start to transition back into the van? And more importantly, once I start to transition back into working and social environments that are going to present me with challenges and choices, how am I making sure that I'm going to make the right decisions as I move forward? So I stole a little something from Hobo Alley. She showed this to us a long time ago in her van journey. And that was, she used to journal every night about her goals for the next day. I love these little notebooks. Like, these little notebooks, I buy them all the time, but then I don't want to use them because I want to save them for something important. You know, this is my china that's in like somebody's cupboard, and they're waiting for that fancy company that never comes. These notebooks are that to me. And so I have to convince myself to use them before I end up with 30 blank notebooks that are just so cute. I don't want to waste them on something minute. But anyway, so what I do every single day, every single night before I go to bed, is I will write on one page all of the things I want to make sure I do that day, my goals for the day, on one side of the page. And then, and I don't want to open this notebook because I feel like it's personal. And then on the other page, in fact, I'll just open to a blank page. So this would have the day's activities on it, just so you can get a visual. And this side would have overall goals, so long-term stuff I need to work on, today's goals. At the end of the day, I cross off all the things I actually accomplished on my to-do list. That includes exercise, that includes eating things, anything that I want to make sure I'm successful at and checking in about at the end of the day is on this page, and I cross off all the things I did. If there's anything I can cover before I go to sleep, I make sure to try to cover that. And then this one is long-term goals. If any of this needs to be transferred over, I transfer it over, and then at night, I already set up the next day's page. Anything that wasn't done that needs to be done on that day gets transferred there, and then my long-term goals also get transferred over here. And those goals don't have to be just about exercise and fitness, but every single day I put exercise, cardio, whatever the goal is for that day, the specific activity that I want to do, it goes in the notebook. And if I can cross it off at the end of the day, then I know I've accomplished it. Now, this notebook in and of itself is a personal responsibility item. Obviously, I'm the only one obligating myself to this, and so I'm the only person who can make sure I'm doing it, but it gives me sort of a solid thing to look at about what I want to continue to do, what I want to work on, what I'm looking for in the future. And I found it to be a really useful tool even during quarantine, because even though I have all day to do stuff, that can sometimes be a trap. When you can do something anytime, sometimes that anytime becomes the time that never comes. Whereas if you set a specific goal and you set it at a time and you schedule it, or you say this is a to-do list I need to knock out before the end of the day, then it gets done. So for me, this has been a really useful tool, and it's something I want to try to carry forward as I transition out of this temporary housing back into the van, and as the world starts to open up and life starts to normalize and I have to deal with work events and social events, that I'm able to say no to things that I know will lead to a slippery slope. If I need to be focused, I want to stay focused, and I want to accept that that is just a part of my life. You know, I'm not, because I'm feeling socially anxious, going to float around a table and eat food. I'm not going to eat food so that somebody doesn't think I'm rude. If I have to explain my reasons why, then I will explain them. I have to live in this body, so I have to keep this body as healthy as I can for me. I can't eat food or drink drinks to satisfy other people if it's not serving who I want to be. And so that's this book and the book that follows it, and hopefully the book that comes after that, and this sort of nighttime, daytime, journaling and checking off, hopefully will help me be more focused as I transition out. So that's what's been really, really important to me. I started incorporating this a couple of days ago. It's not even that far. I have a little paper clip on the day that I'm working on. And then, so I use these little paper clips just to keep my life straight. And this is today. So as you can see, I'm not that far into the book. I even put YouTube ideas in this book because sometimes I'll be like, that'll make a great video. And then I don't write it down, and then I forget about it. And then, like, maybe the relevance of that idea has even passed at that point. There's so many videos where I was like, that'll be a good idea, and I never wrote it down, and I thought I'd just get to it. So I'm even, like, writing down, like, YouTube video ideas that I would like to do in the future. I'm trying to make this exercise update thing just a weekly thing, and so far this is the third week I'm doing it. Last week was the first official week. This week is like the first official follow-up week. That first one I just needed to drop it because like I was really embarrassed about it. I know like some people think I'm really, really confident, but there are a lot of things that I'm uncomfortable with. There's a reason I don't want somebody to watch me do an entire exercise video and I just pick out clips and use those, besides copyright issues because the DVDs I use are copyrighted. Another reason I don't do that is because there are times my body is in positions that I'm embarrassed about, and it takes a lot of bravery. I'm not going to toot my own horn. I have to deal with a lot within myself just to exercise out in public, but it's something I need to do if I'm going to be able to continue this journey, because I don't have this apartment all the time. I don't have a house, I cannot, exercising indoors and or alone is not an option. Like, I could exercise indoors at the gym, I guess, but I've talked about why I hate the gym. And so I'd rather exercise outdoors. If the choice is the outdoors and the gym, because I don't have a house and I don't have a private space where I can exercise alone, then the choice is outside, because at least it's semi-controlled in my own space. But I am aware when people walk by. I am aware when people can see me. And I am aware of feeling awkward in certain body positions, wearing certain clothes. Like right now I have on a tank top. I don't want people to see my arms. I hate the way my arms look. Like, I absolutely hate it. But I can deal with putting like a few seconds of a clip in a video. I can't deal with like just being in front of a camera the whole time. So it's really nice to not have to think about the camera too much. I think I only film like maybe 2 or 3 exercise sessions a week, and then I pull clips from that just to tell a story. but I don't want the camera on the whole time, which is why I would never do a Zoom exercise session, because I like that with the DVDs and the exercise videos, like nobody else is really there. Like this is pre-recorded, these people are not really there, and I'm allowed to just be in myself and just concentrate on what I'm doing without having to worry about these interactions with other people. I hope that makes sense. I know people have been like, oh, you should do like a Zoom or a live or whatever while you're exercising. I don't really see myself doing that in the near future. So basically, things are going well. I'm very happy with where I'm at right now. I'm very happy about moving forward. I am working on some stuff with the van. That video is turning out to be an interesting edit. I just tape so much stuff randomly. I'm trying to turn it into something that's actually viewable, but I should. I feel like I've been thinking this for days. I should have that video out on Tuesday, at least the first of those videos. It might turn into a sort of multi-parter type thing. I attempted to build something that ended up taking more time than I thought it was going to take. But it's still going great. I do my exercise. I eat smaller portions all day. I eat healthier food than I have been eating the past few months. And things seem to be moving in the right direction. We'll check in on Mondays and we'll see how this thing is going. And yeah, I got nothing else for you. So I'll see you in the next video.